Good morning, children. Welcome back to e-learning classes of PNMRC High School. Hope you all are safe. So, children, let's continue our chapter number 6. This is Jody's fawn. In the last video, children, you all saw that Jody took his father's permission to bring the fawn home and he is going with Millville to the forest. Let's see what happens. Then a buzzard. Children, buzzard means a large bird like the vulture that eats the flesh of dead animals. Then the buzzard rose in front of him and flapped into the air. He came into the clearing under the oaks. Clearing means an open area, and oak is a type of large tree. Buzzards sat in a circle around the carcass of the doe. Now, children, that Jody find out that the carcass of the doe was here, and it was surrounded by the buzzards. Carcass is a dead body of the doe. They turned their heads on their long, scrawny necks. Means as Jody went near them, they looked at Jody with the scrawny means thin neck and hissed at him. Means they made a sound. He threw his bow at them and they flew into an adjacent tree. Children, this Jody is really brave boy. So he threw bow. Bow means branch of a tree to them and they flew to nearby trees. The sand showed large cat prints, but the big cats killed fresh and they had left the door to the carrion birds. Carrion birds are a kind of bird which eat remaining flesh of dead bodies. Now, going near, Jody saw that there are footprints of big cats, means maybe tiger or lion must have come there and they ate this doe and left the remaining flesh for that carrion birds. Parted the grass. Parted means moved or pushed aside. At the place where he had seen the fawn, it did not seem possible that it was only yesterday. The fawn was not there. He circled the clearing. There was no sound, no sign. The buzzards clackered their wings, impatient to turn to their business. He returned to the spot where the fawn had emerged and dropped on all fours, studying the sand for the small hoof prints. The night stain had washed all away tracks except those of cat and buzzards. So, children, in this paragraph, Jody is finding that where is the fawn. He cannot see fawn anywhere, only the buzzards, and buzzards are waiting to Jody's to go back so that they can come back and eat that doe. So Jody dropped on all fours means he lie down on his hands and legs and he's searching for the hoof prints of that fawn. But there are only footprints of cats and buzzards. He could not find that fawn anywhere. Movement directly in front of him startled him so that he tumbled backward. Startled means surprised, tumbled means felt backward. The fawn lifted its face to his. It turned its head with a wide, wondering motion and shook him through with the stare of its liquid eyes. It was quivering. Children, quivering means shaking slightly. It made no effort to rise or run. Jody could not trust himself to move. So now in this paragraph, it is explained how Jody and the fawn first saw each other. Jody was on his fours, means on his knees and palm, and was searching for the fawn. Suddenly, there was a movement which surprised Jody. It was the fawn, and the fawn turned his head and looked at Jody with his liquidy eyes. Jody purposely did not make any effort to move because if he had moved, he would have scared that fawn. He whispered, "It's me." The fawn lifted its nose, scenting him. Scenting means smelling. He reached out one hand and laid it on the soft neck. The touch made him delirious. Delirious, extremely excited. He moved forward on all fours until he was close beside it. He put his arms around its body. A light convulsion passed over it and it did not stir. Convulsion means shiver and stir means move. Children, here Jody is very happy and surprised to see that fawn back. This fawn smelled him, and Jody kept on moving on his fore till he was just near that fawn. He put his arm around that fawn and touched his neck. It was shivering and it did not move. Stroked its side as gently as though the fawn were a china deer. A china deer means a clay deer that is easily broken, and he might break it. Its skin was very soft. It was sleek and clean. Sleek means smooth and shiny, and had a sweet scent of grass. He rose slowly and lifted the fawn from the ground. Its leg hung limply. Limply means without any support. They were surprisingly long, and he had to hoist the fawn as high as possible under his arm. So, children, as Jody is near that fawn, he touched that fawn, and as if it was a china deer, he lifted that fawn from the ground, but the legs were very long and they were hanging without any support. He had to carry that fawn as high as he could. He was afraid that it might kick and bleat at sight and smell of its mother. He skirted the clearing. Skirted means avoided the clearing and pushed his way into the thicket. Thicket means dense bushes. It was difficult to fight through with his burden. The fawn's legs caught in bushes and he could not lift his own with freedom. He tried to shield its face. Shield means protect his face from prickling vines. Prickling means sensitive vines climbers. Its head bobbed with his stride. Bobbed means turned and stride means walked. His heart thumped with the marvel of its acceptance of him. He reached the trail and walked as fast as he could until he came to the intersection. Intersection means joint with the road home. He stopped to rest and set the fawn down on its dangling legs. He wavered means shivered. It wavered on them. It looked at him and bleated. Bleated means made a sound. Children, here Jody was afraid that if he might take this fawn from the place where the doe means mother of fawn is kept, its dead body is lying, so it may kick or bleed him. He avoided that place and he went to the thick bushes. But this was not an easy way because long fawn's legs are getting caught in all the bushes. Jody is really very happy that fawn has accepted him. He ran and walked as fast as he could, and he was protecting the fawn's face to get hurt with these thorns. As he reached at the intersection means at the joint where the road one of the road is going to his home, he stopped there for rest because he is tired now, and he lay down that fawn. The fawn is shivering on his leg, and now he bleat. Bleat means he made sound and chanted, "I'll carry you after I get my breath." He remembered his father saying that a fawn would follow if it had first been carried. He started away slowly. The fawn stared after him. He came back to it and stroked it and walked away again. It took a few wobbling means shaking steps toward him and cried piteously. Piteously means with pity. It was willing to follow him. It belonged to him. It was his own. He was light-headed with his joy. He wanted to fondle it. Fondle means to hug, to run and to romp with it, to call to it to come to him. He dared not alarm it. Alarm means to frighten. He picked it up and carried it in front of him over his two arms. It seemed to him that he walked without effort. So here children, Jody is really very tired and he kept that fawn down. But suddenly he remembered his father said one day that if the fawn is carried initially, then afterwards it will start following you. He started taking few steps, but This fawn stared at him, so he came back and he patted means touch or stroked that fawn. The fawn took few steps means shaking steps towards him and then cried with pity. Because he wanted to follow him because he was belonging to him. Jody wanted to hug and run and play. His arms began to ache and he was forced to stop again. When he walked on, the fawn followed him at once. He followed it to walk a little distance, then picked it up again. The distance home was nothing. He would have walked all day and into the night, carrying it and watching it follow. He was wet with sweat, but a light breeze blew through the June morning, cooling him. The sky was as clear as spring water in the blue china cup. He came to the clearing. It was fresh and green after the night's rain. He fumbled with the latch, was finally obliged to set down the fawn to manage it. Then he had an idea. He would walk into the house, into Penny's bedroom, with the fawn walking behind him. But at the steps, the fawn balked and refused to climb them. He picked it up and went to his father. Penny lay with closed eyes. Children, here Jody is so tired that he is forced to keep that fawn down. He walked on, fawn started following him. Jody was really very happy to see this. He was so tired that he was sweating, but instantly the cool breeze made him comfortable. As he reached home, he had an idea that fawn will follow him behind, but there were steps and fawn was not ready to step up. Again, Jody had to pick him up and he took him to his father, where Father Benny is laying down with his closed eyes. He said, "Pa, look." He turned his head. Jody stood beside him. The fawn clutched hard against him. Clutched means he was holding that fawn in his arms. It seemed to Penny boy's eyes were as bright as fawns. He said, "I am glad you found him." So, here, children, Penny is also very happy that Jody has found that fawn. Jody then went to the kitchen. The fawn wobbled after him. Wobbled means he is following with his shaking legs. A pan of morning milk stood in the kitchen, safe. The cream had risen on it. It skimmed the cream into the jug. Skimmed means remove the cream into the jug. He poured milk into small gourd. He held it out to the fawn. It butted it suddenly, smelling the milk. He saved it precariously from spilling over the floor. It could make nothing of the milk in the gourd. Means here we come to know that this fawn could not drink the milk of its own. So here Jody had dipped his finger in the milk and thrust them into the fawn's soft wet mouth. It sucked greedily. When he withdrew them, it bleated frantically and butted him. He dipped his finger again, and as the fawn sucked, he lowered them slowly into the milk. The fawn blew and snugged and snorted. It stamped its small hoofs impatiently as long as he held his fingers below the level of the milk. The fawn was content. It closed its eyes dreamily. It was ecstasy to feel its tongue against his hand. Its small tail flicked back and forth. The last of the milk vanished in a swirl of foam and gurgling. Children, as Jody comes to know that this fawn could not drink the milk itself, he dipped his finger in that milk and put his fingers in fawn's mouth. Fawn was very excited and happy to drink that milk. Even Jody was very happy while touching his wet mouth. As Jody removed his finger from its mouth, the fawn started pushing him greedily. With the happiness and the joy, he stamped his small hoof and he moved his tail back and forth. So, children, this was really very interesting story, emotional too, written by Marjorie Kennan Rawlings. Read the chapter over here. I'll send you the answers through the PDF as soon as possible. Till then, stay safe. Thank you and have a nice day.